Welcome to Why We're Fans. I'm Duran, and as always, I'm joined by my co-host, Gennaro.
In all of our episodes, we cover the past, present, and the future of all your favorite NFL football teams.
We love hearing your stories, talking the NFL draft, and reminiscing about the good old days.
If you like the same, be sure to subscribe to this channel and like this episode. And leave a comment below if you want to answer any of our questions.
Follow us on Twitter to stay up to date on our latest interviews. And like we always say, win or lose, we're all fans. Enjoy this episode.
Welcome to another episode of Why We're Fans. We're joining you this morning on Saturday. You know what? I'm liking it. Feels good. I'm your host, Gennaro. Joining me always is Duran. Duran, how's it going today?
Good, man. I think this is going to be a good episode. You know, the Jets just have a lot of changes going on right now with their organization. They got the new coach coming in. I'm sure you know a little bit about him, potential quarterback change. So we'll cover all the little stuff today.
Yeah, I mean, gotta love me some Robert Salah, baby. He's all gas, no brakes. You guys got a good one for sure. But all right, man. Let's. You ready to bring in our guest?
Of course.
All right. Today joining us, we got Alex Trataros. Alex, how you doing today?
Good, Gennaro. Good, Duran. How you guys doing today?
Good, man.
Good, man.
Quick question for you: would you have done that Stafford trade? Or do you want to get rid of your quarterback that bad, or do you want to rock with him a little bit longer? What are you thinking there?
So I like Darnold. I still have a little faith in Darnold. I'm not completely off yet, but I wouldn't have traded for Stafford. I would like to either go young. I don't want to necessarily go for a guy who's getting closer to the end of his career and just it's a stopgap kind of situation. I feel like if you're the Rams who have all the pieces ready to go, that makes sense. Jets, we're still not there yet. We're still building.
Yep. Yeah, I feel you, man.
You guys got a good coach for sure. But yeah, why don't you tell everybody where they can find you, what work you guys are doing right now, and just brag about yourself a little bit. You know what I mean?
Oh, all right. Don't get to do this too often, but yeah. So as Gennaro said, my name is Alex Trataros. You can find me at Hoops Habit covering the Knicks. You can find me at Knicks TV. KnicksFanTV.com, where I write over there as well. You can also find the podcast with me and my boy John Malika, where we cover not only the Knicks and the Jets as well. So you can find me at other places, and you can, if you're into sports betting, you can find me at Tally's site for NBA betting too.
Nice, I like that.
It's funny. Usually we drink some beers out here, but we want to seem like alcoholics drinking in the morning right now. But we have a brewery out here, Hen House. Shout out to Hen House, by the way. Ooh. They have a beer called Frozen Envelope, and the brewer is a big Knicks fan, so that's why he named it that. So I thought that's awesome. You being a Knicks fan and all. I try to find it to bring it in here, but they're not brewing it right now. So
love it. I love breweries, man. I love craft beers. I do a little bit of I haven't done it so in a while, but used to do some home brewing here and there back not a while ago before I moved and did law school and all that type of stuff. Did a little home brewing.
What was your best brew?
So if you guys like Allagash White, I made a copy of that. So it had a nice little bubblegum like summery flavor to it. It's a New England beer. I don't know if you guys have had Allagash at all or whatnot. But
yeah, I have.
Yes. Yeah, so I made something similar like that. Me and my boy, shout out to my boy Vin. We made like a nice Oktoberfest. We've done.
Sick! Hell yeah!
Yeah, that anything that like requires like refrigeration for like a consistent 45 degree. That's a little difficult. Don't have that set up, but my boy does. So he was like, "Why not?" Let's see, peach American cream ale. Did that? That was all gone in a second. A couple of things here and there. Those are probably the top three, though. Definitely for sure.
We might have to put it together a little 4-pack Sonoma County beer and send it your way.
Ooh, I'd appreciate that. I'll say if you guys want anything New England, if you guys could ship stuff out, let me know. I got you guys.
No, fuck yeah, we'll definitely be in touch for that. They always love a beer trade.
Hell yeah!
All right, well, we brought you on to answer some questions. Duran, you ready?
Yeah, man.
All right, Alex, you ready, man?
let's get this going, man. I'm excited.
Hell yeah, let's Jet take off, baby. So, all right. First things first, man. How did it start? How did you become a Jets fan? Was it, Fireman Ed that got you into it? What's going on?
Oh my God, Fireman Ed. Thank God he returned after his short retirement after the butt fumble. Let's see. This is really, it's so interesting because growing up, like I was like I wasn't affiliated with anybody. I didn't really become a Jets fan more so until I got closer to college. Actually, like I played football growing up, like played it through high school, but I never wanted to affiliate. I just loved watching all the teams just growing up. So like early 2000s, I watched actually a lot of Broncos in all honesty with the Jets because my dad's a Jets fan. Most of my family and my friends are Jets fans. So I'd always go back and forth watching like Chad Pennington play with like Laveranues Cole, Santana Moss, all those type of guys. And then I was also catching some Broncos as well, watching Jake Plummer with like Rod Smith, when they had who was it, Quentin Portis before they got Mike Anderson and so forth. So just going back and forth between there, and then it wasn't really until I got into college where I was still like hedging. Honestly, I was still hedging, and then my buddy was like, "Yo, you can't do this anymore, man. You got to make a decision." I was like, and it was the year actually that the Jets drafted Mark Sanchez and the Broncos drafted Tim Tebow that year. And I was like, why did you trade Jay Cutler and draft Tim Tebow? Like, what do you like? What sense does this make? This is where I had no idea what Josh McDaniels was doing, but I saw the Jets were on the cover. Yeah, I'm sure he still doesn't. I'm sure that's why he didn't take the Colts job because he's like, you know what? Yeah. I don't want to expose myself over here. I get to hide underneath Bill Belichick. So. My buddy's like before the start of the season, like, yo, if the Jets make it far, man, he was like, if they make it to the playoffs, you got to be a Jets fan. I was like, you know what? If they do that, fine. Like, I was excited when the Jets did under Chad Pennington and whatnot. And so Mark Sanchez was like, I don't know if they're going to do it with a rookie quarterback, so I may slide for another year. Next thing I know, they make the playoffs. I was like, what? I was like, yo, I guess I'm a Jets fan. Why not? I love this. I love this team too. So when they went deep, and they lost to the Colts that season in the AFC Championship. That was probably why I truly solidified being a Jets fan. But I always liked the Jets prior to that. I was a fan of Chad Pennington, like I said, Santana Moss. When we had, oh my God, so many guys.
Bart Scott.
Well, Bart Scott was part of that team. He came with like Rex Ryan. I love Bart Scott too. My favorite defensive player next to Darrelle Revis.
Favorite GIF, I think. Can't wait.
Yeah, can't. I love Cam. Ah, God, you're making me happy, man. That's just making me nostalgic because that was such good times, good vibes. But like, I also liked Vernon Golston, like when he was on the team. Laveranues Cole, Santana Moss, I keep talking about. I also like Curtis Martin, man. How can you not love Curtis Martin? That's like a true Jet. So there's a lot of guys. It was just, seeing Pennington, then Pennington go down, bringing Vinny Testaverde back out of retirement, and then you move on from Pennington. You're like, yo, we got Brett Favre, and I'm just like, oh snap, this is pretty cool. And then he's like sending, what picks to everybody, and I'm just like, okay, we need something new here. And so thought it was gonna be with the Sanchez, got 2 good years, and now Geno Smith's stint was like a little rough. So,
got that one.
But still a Jets fan, man. Still a Jets fan through it all, and still love the green and white. This is probably the worst it's ever been under Adam Gase, but thank God, like it's a totally different direction now. Robert Salah, gotta love everything that he's doing. It's great, man. It's great right now.
Yeah, well, I know you said you didn't grow up watching the Jets much as a kid, but your family did. Have you officially taken over as the biggest Jets fan in the family?
Yes. Absolutely. I am the biggest Jets fan. Like I got my Santonio Holmes jersey back there behind me. It's not Chad Pennington number 10. I got a little Jets green helmet too. Got enough Jets gear that I just not demonstrating right now. Just could be like too much. And my fiance is like, look, you can do what you want in the house, but like, can we just not make it too much sports? Yeah. I'm like, all right, fair enough.
Comes in, the house is painted all green. Like, I'm sorry.
Keep it to one room. Do you remember your first Jets jersey?
Oh man, first one. I think it was Santana Santana Moss.
Do you remember the brand?
It was Reebok.
Reebok, yeah, it was before this Nike form-fitting stuff. Those
Yeah.
are the real jerseys back then.
Yep, I had a Santana Moss, loved it. Like
Mhm.
because I played wide receiver in high school. It was funny. I went from like being a lineman, but I loved running. Like I ran track in high school. I just love speed, and Santana Moss was like that guy, just a burst of speed. So
Yep,
Oh
that was
yeah,
great.
guy was a beast. He was fun in college too. He was part of that second tier of the U, and it was
Mhm.
always fun to watch for sure.
Yeah, those
Do you
guys.
have do you have like a game day tradition that you do, like when you're watching the game, like whether it's like a certain beer you have to drink, or we had somebody coming in like, well, I need to put my phone on the fire mantle and just leave it face down. That's how I know I'm ready for the game. So like anything superstition or whatnot.
Ooh, I'm usually wearing some article of Jets clothing when I watch a game. Either it's the jersey, some form of green, or the hat that I got on now. It's a Jets hat, just old school Jets hat. I can flip it around. I love this logo. I wish they brought this one back.
Classic.
Let's see. Usually some article. I got like T-shirts galore, so something. I have to be wearing something green or
Yeah.
Jets related. It can't just be like it's usually something Jets, like Jets clothing, but I cannot go not wearing green while I'm watching the game.
There you
Yeah.
go.
That's pretty mandatory. What's your game day kind of? What do you do every game? Do you watch the game by yourself? Do you watch it with a buddy? Do you go to a sports bar? Is there anything that you do every week?
Oh man, I usually just watch it by myself. So right now I'm actually living
Best.
out in Boston. I'm not. When I was in New York, it'd always be with my friends. I can't do a bar honestly because I don't watch the game. Then like
Yeah.
I like to hear everything. I love the commentary. So it's usually at a friend's house if I'm back in New York. But right now it's just been by myself, or I torture my fiance watching a Jets game.
Yeah. I know, especially nowadays, do you like live tweet during the games and stuff like that? I know, especially someone that covers the Jets in New York sports as much as you're probably, following the feeds and keeping people updated with stuff.
I do like to live tweet. When I picked up writing, what was it over like about 2 years ago? I live tweet watching the games, but this season was really tough to like live tweet because it's just like when you're watching like Adam Gase and you're just seeing like the lack of just preparation. It was like, all right, let's see the script. We
Yeah.
know we know where's the bubble screen, where's the freaking halfback dive. It was just so stupid, and it's like, how much can I actually like tweet about this every single time? So like when they were winning games, or like it was close, like when they almost beat the Raiders and then lost their crazy touchdown, or when they actually beat the Rams or beating the Browns, I was like, okay, I can actually say something nice, and not just say the same thing. But usually I'm live tweeting and something different. This season was just. It was abysmal, man. Like most of my tweets are just probably just hating on Adam Gase in all honesty.
Yeah, it's tough to keep doing, but now I know you mentioned that Raiders play. That one Raiders play might have saved you guys a good 5 draft spots right now. You're in a prime position. So
And that's honestly, I'm so like it's not I don't like tanking, and like it doesn't work in the NFL. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like but it's good for value if you're trying to trade for like, I don't know, Deshaun Watson, which is just like rumors galore right now.
Yeah.
Or if you actually want to choose like Zach Wilson or Justin Fields, or if you just want to package it up and punt on this draft, get some more capital, beef up the O line, and do something else. So I'm all for it. Like all for like where we are right now. You knew it wasn't going to be Gase, just ruined Darnold. So it's a nice position to be in.
We'll get to the draft stuff in a little bit, but we'll dive in a little deeper towards the end. But do you remember the very first Jets game you went to? Have you been to a Jets game live?
Yeah, I have. First Jets game I've been to live. What was it? It's funny because my parents never took me to Jets games, so I went while I was in college, and I think
Yeah.
it was like college or post college. And so first game I actually saw was when Geno. So it was Geno Smith. Geno Smith. No, it wasn't Geno Smith. It was pre Geno. I think was it pre Geno Smith? It's such a confusing year because I saw it was either Greg McElroy that I saw for like the first one, which I was like, okay, him or it was Geno Smith against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers where we just traded Revis. And it was, I can't, I no, it was Greg McElroy. That's what it was.
Yeah.
So I didn't get to see Sanchez. That was a true actual game. If you were talking like preseason, got to see the Jets versus Giants. So I got to see Sanchez, Sean Green, but depends which one you want.
Maybe it was Mike Vick. I remember Mike Vick spent a year there.
Oh, I forgot
He did.
about that too.
Yeah,
He
I think it was
did.
2014 or 15. I could be one of those seasons.
I think it was 15. Was it 15? It was 15 or 16. Because like we had Sanchez. It was like Gino and Sanchez one year, and that was when Sanchez went down.
Yeah,
And we just got Gino, and they actually did. They went 8-8, and I was like, maybe we got something here. Then the following season comes, and it's like, nope.
like.
You got anything else on how it started, G?
No, I don't got anything else on how it started.
Okay.
Yeah, let's move on. Next topic.
You got it. So now we want to take a guess on who your favorite player is. You might have dropped a hint just by getting a little bit of background from you. But G, you want to go first?
Man, like you was saying earlier, there's a bunch of players on the team that were great. Whether it's Curtis Martin, Mohammed Wilkerson, Bart Scott. But I'm gonna go with like you. I played receiver as well, and one guy that I liked a lot. Coming out of Hofstra was actually Wayne Corbett. I thought he was the shit. It wasn't really the fastest, but it was super hard worker, nitty gritty. So yeah, I'm gonna go with Wayne Corbett. Duran.
Yep, I'm going with Darrelle Revis. I mean, Darrelle Revis was the man there for 8 years. He had a little break in between there and came back, but Darrelle Revis. I mean, Revis Island.
So you're guessing those are my top two guys? Okay.
Yeah. Or who's your number one?
So actually, my number one
That's fine.
is actually Santonio Holmes.
I thought you like Sanchez.
No. It's because I love wide receivers. So like anyone who came that like I know he like left on bad terms. Love Santonio Holmes. Love the toe tap against the Patriots. So he just solidified it for me there. I was like, okay, but I do love Wayne Corbett and I do love Darrelle Revis. Those two guys are definitely top 5 guys. So you're not far off. Those are top 5 guys that I do love. Santonio Holmes, like I know he wasn't here that long, but wide receivers are always gonna catch my eye. Like Santana Moss, as much as I love him, Burner wasn't. I would say like, unfortunately, he didn't have like the greatest career as a Jet because Pennington was injured and like we had to keep going back and forth between him or whoever, Clemens or Testaverde. So it was kind of a wash. What we probably could have gotten more out of him. Another guy that I actually liked, who actually came later and we had that one stellar year, was Brandon Marshall, but he doesn't crack the top 5 for me. Yeah, well, Brandon Marshall. If he went to the playoffs, that's the only thing. If he went to the playoffs, then I would probably have to like go with Brandon Marshall, but unfortunately, no.
I was thinking, do you think Darrelle Revis could be your number one if he kind of stayed a Jet? I know he made so much money chasing from team to team, contract to contract. But whenever I look at these guys who the favorite player is, I usually look at guys that were just lifelong, one team. They usually take over the fans' hearts.
For sure. I mean, he did take it was heartbreaking when he tore his ACL and we just lost because he helped made the defense. Like you knew like he can shut down anybody and then everyone else could just go to work. And you didn't have to worry about what Darrelle Revis did, but it hurts that he won with the Patriots. So it's rough to, division rival, goes there, gets paid, wins the Super Bowl with them. And it's like, I love you. I know it wasn't your fault that you left. You always gave us problems for wanting more money, and I get it. But it's tough, man. That's probably like the one thing, like, I'd probably say he's like 3 or 4 or 2 on my list. Definitely like one of my favorite Jets to watch play just because of how dominant he was.
Yeah, just for the Jets, I know we said he was there for 8 years with the break in between, but he's number 3 in Jets history in interceptions, number 1 in pass deflections by 50. And just to kind of put that into perspective, there's only 2 players with more than 50 career pass deflections for the Jets all time. So, and that was Antonio Cromartie. It's like the man, the myth, the legend, Antonio Cromartie. As many pass deflections as children that he's birthed.
Damn.
But yeah, that just shows you how dominant Darrelle Revis has been for a really long time. So yeah, he's the man.
That's funny. I always remember that Hard Knocks. I mean, that was actually one of my favorite seasons of Hard Knocks was when they did the Jets, because like they're like, hey, you know, so how many kids you have, and he's like, and he has to think about it.
Yeah, that's like, when you know you have a lot.
Yeah. You guys actually had like some good solid receivers as well. And now that I'm looking back at it, but
oh yeah, that's you know what, that might be one of the underrated things. Do you have a most underrated Jet of all time? Why you think about it? Just I was looking through Jet stuff and the receivers that they've had there: Wayne Chrebet, Keyshawn Johnson, Lavernius Cole, Santana Moss, Jericho Cotchery, Braylon Edwards. I remember Cleveland legend. But yeah, I mean, those are some pretty good receivers, and I don't think they get enough credit for being there.
I think the most I say like the most underrated core was Holmes, Cotchery, and Edwards, just because Mike Tannenbaum, for as good as he was, like I guess like finding talent and like bringing it in and just overpaying, like he somehow like just was able to understand throwing the bag will attract guys to bring something in. It doesn't always work, and that was probably like my biggest gripe with like the Sanchez era, is that all right, you had guys who have been there, like established, whether it be Cotchery, Dustin Keller as well, like being a tight end. Oh, yeah. And then you have Braylon Edwards, you bring in Santonio Holmes, and you want continuity, right? And then going into that next season where we go 8-8, you know, they don't bring back Braylon. They let Cotchery go. And we bring in Derek Mason, who's ready to retire, and Plaxico Burress, who hadn't played for a while. And it's like, why are we... Plaxico's lost a step. Derek Mason's ready to retire. And then that whole thing of just like making Sanchez a captain when he hadn't really earned it. Santonio Holmes just being on another level of just, I guess, just being a little annoying. I'm not even gonna. It's just like, you know, getting benched like the last game of the season. It was too much. It was just too much.
Eating a hot dog versus the Raiders.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
Or eating against the Jags. I forget who was the quarterback that season for the Jags. He was actually on the.
No.
Who?
Was it Bortles?
No, it wasn't Bortles. He was the guy was. He was a 49er actually.
Blaine Gabbert.
Gabbert.
Okay.
There it was. Blaine Gabbert was the quarterback, and we just squashed the Jags, and you see Sanchez eating some chicken tenders on the side. I'm just like, dude, what are you doing? Like I get that you're out, but like, can you not? And he's like asking for like mustard and whatnot. I'm just like, okay.
Yeah. Come on now.
Do you one thing that I've always been curious, do you have a player that was on the Jets or on the Jets now that you do not like, that you're like, damn man, I just need to get rid of him and don't like the guy?
Well, they did it. It was Trumaine Johnson.
Okay. Yeah. The California kid out here from Stockton.
Like the contract he got and the performance that I saw, I was like, that not worth it whatsoever. Way he ended everything, just didn't want to talk to media, just like, I'm happy, like whatever. I'm out. I'm just like, okay. Another guy that got on my nerves a little bit was Mohammed Wilkerson, because like even for as good as he was, I feel like
always hurt.
Always hurt, but once he got the contract, it was like on the field. Actually, no, I take that back. Wilkerson wasn't it. Quentin Coples was the guy I actually have the biggest gripe with.
I remember that.
Because he came out of UNC, and like it was like, oh, him and Wilkerson played together in high school. This kid's a beast. It's like his motor's in question, but I think it'll all change. I'm just like, will it though? Like, if the motor's in question in college, what makes you think it's going to turn up? And he had so much potential, man. But just that was a bother.
Yeah, he was 16th overall pick. I mean, he did have a lot of potential. I remember him being one of the big names coming out that year. He had the body, he had everything, size, length, speed, but one of those guys that just never really put it together. You're right. I forgot about that. Quentin Coples. Quentin Coples. Yeah, I have a little list of just defensive linemen that you guys kind of have had throughout the years that I wouldn't say were bad, but maybe you just didn't maximize their potential throughout the years. Leonard Williams, 6th overall pick. Of course, Quentin Coples, Sheldon Richardson, 13th overall. I know you mentioned Mo Wilkerson, but I kind of put him in another category than these guys. I mean, these guys, I'm pretty sure all of them just left after their first contract was up. And they're all very promising defensive linemen that never quite panned out.
Yeah, for sure. Sheldon Richardson, like we traded to the Seahawks, I believe.
Okay.
And yeah, I like Sheldon Richardson too because he was a dog, man. Just like on the field, he was a bully, like absolute bully. Issue was that under Todd Bowles, and Todd Bowles isn't a bad coach. I don't put any blame on Todd Bowles for the lack of success that he had here in New York. I put a lot of it on McCagnon, who was just poor at drafting. Like first round pick was pretty much a lock. Everything else was suspect. You know, like we had Bryce Petty. He showed a little flash here and there, but couldn't be consistent. Like when we were moving on from Geno Smith, every second rounder that we had, like Chase Amaka, oh my God, that tight end just didn't.
Oh yeah,
that didn't pan out whatsoever. I mean, there's a lot of guys that we had, and I just can't remember them because they're all so bad.
And that is the thing. You really need those depth pieces. I mean, first round guys, I usually feel like they kind of have to hit, and then you need to find 2-3 more guys in the depth for it just to be a successful draft. I mean, they don't got to be all pros, but they need to be contributors or starters, hopefully, at least.
For sure. And the thing with like Richardson is that it was that 2015. So 2015, we got Todd Bowles, and we played well. We went 10-6. It was the following season after that where you had the whole dispute in the locker room between Brandon Marshall, Sheldon Richardson, Mohammed Wilkerson. Like there was just so much locker room controversy. It was just ridiculous. And so everything just started breaking up there, and Sheldon Richardson got into some off the field issues, whether it was like speeding tickets and so forth. So you can't have that and try to keep like a sturdy, good culture locker room. So he had a lot of talent. I think it also goes back with like the coaching too. Like there's nothing, I'm not saying anything bad about Todd Bowles. It was his first stint. He came into like a very difficult situation he was trying to like manage, but yeah, it was just it wasn't a good situation after 10-6 season.
Yeah. Well, I know you mentioned Todd Bowles a couple times. Let's move on to a little bit about these coaches that the Jets have had just recently, besides guys that were in the 80s and stuff. Todd Bowles, of course, just won a Super Bowl. Congrats to Todd Bowles. Rex Ryan, Eric Mangini, Herm Edwards, Bill Parcells. Are any of those guys one of your favorites?
Rex Ryan is probably at the top.
Okay.
Just because we saw for the success. Number 2, probably Mangini. Just because I liked what he was trying to do. I think he just needed to stay more true to himself than trying to be a Bill Belichick person. I think that's what was the biggest issue with him, is like he tried to do the same thing as Bill Belichick, and that he wasn't being honest with himself as who he is as a person, or like being like his own authentic head coach. And it's like you can't replicate like the same style. You have to kind of mesh to who your personality is. And I think he was just forcing a little bit. Todd Bowles and Herm Edwards, I like all those guys.
Yeah.
I had, honestly, there was no of those guys that you named, I didn't dislike any one of them. I think they all just ran their course while they were here. I noticed you didn't mention one guy, the most recent guy, and that's fine because I hate that guy.
I liked all those coaches too. I mean, I feel like, I don't know if it's just the New York media because they put so much attention on these guys, but a lot of them, I say maybe except for Eric Mangini, I can't think of anything, but they all had their classic press conference type things. I mean, Bill Parcells, classic one-liners and things like that. Rex Ryan, I feel like he really broke out after that Hard Knocks season that Gennaro mentioned. I mean, he is such a character, and just his interaction with the players, the media, and things
Have a
like
goddamn
that.
snack.
Yeah, yeah, just him out there on the field bullshitting with the guys. And then of course, Herm Edwards with his classic "We play to win the game" speech, post game speech. But I honestly, I really liked Herm Edwards. He was probably my favorite out of that bunch there. He's just, to me, he's like a coach's coach. He's all about football. And he knows his shit. He was a good one. One guy that I thought was there a little bit longer was Bill Parcells. I don't know exactly how many seasons, maybe 3, but his record was 29-19. He has the best win percentage out of those guys. Then it goes to Herm, 39-41, Rex 46-50. So they're right around that 50%. But like you said, Rex Ryan, he got the most out of those players for like those 2 years where no one else had success with Sanchez or anything like that. So yeah, those are some good coaches. I liked all of them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, they were all fun. I mean, I think for Rex, the biggest issue with Rex though is like adapting to the offense and the media. Yeah, I would say the Jets beat is actually Nick's beat is pretty tough. It was pretty tough back then.
Yeah,
because because Manish Mehta, who's not covering the Jets anymore, I can't tell you how many terrible pieces I've read, piece after piece, with like very little analysis of just like why they were doing bad. Yeah, and I was like, I would like read it. I'm just like, okay, you're just putting words together on a piece of paper that are not tying like what's going on over here, and it's just slandering people. And he thinks he's doing. He thought he was doing good coverage, but he really wasn't. Yeah, Jets beat is. Because under Ryan, because like you also had Idzik, who was just trying to be a penny pincher and didn't have an eye for talent. So after we lost Tannenbaum, and that was the thing, like Woody loves, like to this day, he still loves Rex. And when everyone was just like, it was like, okay, this is not working. It's Brian Schottenheimer. All right, it's Tannenbaum. And like, he listened to the media, and it was like he got rid of both those guys, and he kept Rex. And when you fired your GM, and it's one thing to like replace an OC, but to fire the GM and keep the head coach and then shotgun marriage him with like Idzik, who was just Idzik had no eye for talent. That was terrible.
Tough. Yeah,
terrible.
I feel like a lot of teams are kind of getting that now. Whenever you see GMs and coaches, especially when both the spots are open, they kind of bring them in together and make sure they mesh, or at least have the GM really pick the coach. I think a lot of teams are really focusing on that nowadays, just making sure those two guys work. I mean, G over here at the Niners, I mean, perfect marriage, those two guys. It's like Shanahan and Lynch. A lot of those guys just set the standard, and copycat league. Guys are doing the same exact thing.
Yeah. You guys got a good GM now, though. I mean, I think he has a lot of potential over there.
He definitely does. He's an actual football mind. He's not just like a financial guy or some like, that's the problem. Like we had 2 guys who are more money makers than really like football guys. And during that, like after Tannenbaum, when we got Idzik, the issue with the Jets is that they put both the GM and the head coach at the same level. So they both reported to the owner. It wasn't the coach reported to the GM. And they used agencies to find these guys for them. So it wasn't like it didn't help in that manner. Now we have Joe Douglas, who's an actual football mind, comes from Baltimore, has had success, right? And understands football, like legitimately understands football. And that's why, there's like there's a little rift in like Jets Twitter. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if Adam Gase is here for one more year. I'm just like, yo, this guy was like shotgun marriage to this guy. He's not going to stay here. Like, he's not blind to what he's seeing. And like, they could be boys, but it's like, even if your boys are going to be honest, like, right? Like, you're not going to be like, look, man, like you're not cutting it. Like, if these guys can't play if these guys are not fighting for you, I can't justify keeping you here. So
yeah. Whenever I hear one of the teams is using one of those agencies or consulting firms, I'm always like, oh, if they're in trouble. I mean, how do you get a job for at one of these places? Sign me up, because they're not doing their job.
Finder.com.
Yeah, they're clearly not doing their job, and I know they're getting paid a shit ton to do that.
It's like we used Indeed.com and we found this guy.
Yeah. But we usually ask, who's your least favorite coach? We know it was Adam Gase with you. Is there one particular area that you just felt like he needed to improve in? Was it relationship with players, offense, with the media, all three, something else?
Can you say everything?
Yeah.
Because it's like
all the above.
Yeah, all the above for sure. Offense needed work. Just being a better manager of people. Like, when you're the head coach, like, you're like the CEO, man. Like, you're overseeing like the entire thing. You're overseeing the players, everybody. You're not really like, when he came, he was like, I'm going to run the offense. Greg Williams, you run the defense. And there was just no communication. The communication between him and the players were non-existent. You know, you can't fine Quincy Enunwa and then put it up on a television screen just saying who's being fined for not doing X, Y, and Z. And so when a player comes in and he doesn't know why he's being fined and then has to talk to you, or you have Jamal Adams and it's just like, I'm being up for trade talks, like, regardless, like, there's no such thing as like an untradeable player unless like you're on the level of like Tom Brady or like some top tier quarterback, right?
Yeah.
The fact that there's no communication at all between the players, that was concerning. Not understanding like just how to manage not only the players but coaches as well. And just like everything he needed to work on. Just like the whole like remove, if you want to do offense, just be an OC. Like just figure that out. Don't try to be a head coach then.
Exactly. And one weird thing, I forget who the coach was that was up for the job at the same time as Gase was for the Jets, but Peyton Manning was the guy that kind of swayed and put in a recommendation. And I was like, really? Peyton Manning gave this guy such a big and we all know Peyton Manning ran his own team, his own offense at least. So that was a weird one to me.
I think if I'm remembering it correctly, because I did a whole like spiel on how Adam Gase is a fraud. Because and he is just like you're saying like you're hanging your hat on Peyton Manning. Like I could hang my hat on Peyton Manning. Like, make me the OC. I don't have to do a damn thing. Like, hey Peyton, you think we should run this? No, okay, you do you, Bo. Like, fine, go ahead and do it. But like I think the number for Gase is like his offense never ranked higher than 19th, 20th, somewhere around there. Like in Chicago under Matt Nagy, it wasn't good. It was just no, it wasn't Matt Nagy. It was Fox. It was Fox who was under there.
Oh,
didn't raise under didn't get like even close to like middle of the league under Fox. And then after that, it was like in the 20s for the most part until it came to the Jets where it was 30 and 31 or 32 2 years in a row. And he's just not good. And like I want to know the dirt. Like I always say this, I want to know the dirt that Adam Gase has on Peyton Manning for Peyton Manning to give him a recommendation. Because like I just want to know.
There's got to be something there.
There's got to be something there, man. You can't just be giving like guys like this who are just clearly not good at what they're doing, and just be like, like he did it for Miami and now he's doing it for the Jets. So
it's not a coincidence that right when Tannehill gets out from underneath him, he starts succeeding and becomes a decent quarterback for a playoff team. You know, just seems like the organization around him changed a little more solid, and there you go. Tannehill lands the big contract.
Oh, yeah.
Anything else for coaches, G?
No, you guys said it pretty much. I mean, one thing about Peyton Manning, he's known for, making people, famous. I mean, look at Pierre Garçon, Austin Collie. I mean, he made all these no-name players, turn into superstars, like get these guys noticed. So that's one my little tidbit, but let's move on.
Yeah, he's made a lot of people a lot of money. Joseph Adai, all the little guys where you're like, if they went anywhere else, we probably would not know who they were.
Yeah.
Yep. So moving on a little bit, do you remember your earliest Jets memory?
Earliest Jets memory. That's a good one. That's really, really tough. I honestly can't. I honestly cannot remember like the first Jets memory. It was, I want to say it was like Curtis Martin, like breaking it off for like a long run.
Mm-hmm.
That's probably like, it's like as a kid, that's like what I remember.
Yeah.
Because it would make like, I know I had his like poster hanging in my bedroom. So it definitely was like one of those type of plays.
Yeah. I remember the players there more too. And it might've been just from playing Madden so much, you create your, all-star team or whatever, but Curtis Martin, of course, Keyshawn, I remember him. He came over, he did a little stint for Dallas. Kevin Mawai, he was always like top rated offensive lineman. I'd always have on my team. So it's more things like that rather than one specific play or game or anything like that. But yeah, Kevin Mawai, shout out. He was actually going to be one of my guesses for your favorite player, but talking to you, it seemed like you're leaning a little bit more towards Revis or a wide receiver or something like that.
Yeah. I love Kevin Mawai, man.
Mm-hmm.
Man,
Hall of Famer.
We had 2 back-to-back awesome centers between him, Nick Mangold.
Mm-hmm.
So we got lucky. We need another center. And I give a lot of respect to Kevin Mawai because I played. So I was a big kid in high school and then lost mad weight going into my senior year. So I went from playing left guard, center, tight end, and then wide receiver.
Oh,
so I kept moving out, kept getting farther away from the line.
Yeah.
And my height stayed the same. So I was like 5'11" dude who was just like I came in like weighing like 200 pounds in like high school, and then by when I graduated, like weighed 160. So.
Wow.
Like Kevin Mawai was definitely like, because that was like when I was playing O-line, I was like, oh, Kevin Mawai is like legit. This is who I got to look up to and figure out what he's doing. Because like when you're the center, like you're commanding you're commanding the entire line. Like you're dictating everything you're doing. You're pretty much the second in command on that field on the offensive side.
Oh yeah.
Quick Kevin Mawai stat. He of course blocked for Curtis Martin for 10 consecutive 1,000-yard rushing seasons. And then he went over to Tennessee and blocked for CJ2K for his 2,000-yard season. So another guy staple on both of those offenses, especially offensive lines.
Yeah, I was a straight beast. I mean, I know you guys are talking about Madden. I mean, one thing I always did is when I played NFL Blitz, that kind of ages myself how old I am. But I always played with the Jets because of Wayne Corbett, because I was like, oh man, this guy's not as fast, you know what I mean? So let me play with this guy. Mm-hmm. But mainly it's because Curtis Martin was a cheat code. You couldn't bring that guy down.
Yeah, those are classic games. I mean, they taught me a lot about all the players and shit who moved on, especially when fantasy football came on and kind of took over the video games for me.
Oh hell yeah, it did.
Oh my god.
So moving on, do you have a favorite Jets memory of all time? I mean, you guys don't really have any recent Super Bowls. You do have a couple big games. I watched the Monday Night Miracle today. That was the 23-point comeback over the Dolphins. That was an amazing game. Could be a draft pick, could be a game you attended. Does anything stand out?
It's definitely watching the Jets beat the Patriots in the AFC divisional round.
Can't wait.
Just because, can't wait. Just because I remember going into that game, so we just beat the Colts by a field goal, thanks to Nick Folk. And now we have to go against the New England Patriots. And I went in just there's no way we can do this, guys. There's no way. It's the freaking Patriots. They just squashed us 45-3 not too long ago. It was I don't know if we can do this. And then we go in there. I'm just we're doing this? I'm what's happening here? I'm just and that was a funny moment because my pops, right? He, as much as he's a Jets fan, so he saw Super Bowl III, he watched it.
Yeah.
And he's a Knicks fan too. So that was a great era for him. He's also a Yankees fan. So late 60s, early 70s, Knicks, Jets were winning. They were just on top. And then after that, they've just been dog shit for like the next year, like 30, 40 years, right? And so it comes to this, he's like, yeah, they made it as a wild card, didn't win the division. They're going to get their asses beat by Tom Brady. I'm just like, yeah, you're probably right. But the thing about my dad is that he'll go in. It just won't be like, yeah, they'll probably win. It's like, yeah, they're going to win because, the Jets suck, da-da-da-da-da-da. Because it's just a lot of anger. Like, just imagine like a fan with like a lot of anger, seeing just like going through a lot of depression. It's like you don't know what success is. So like that's all you can do to like cope. Next thing you know, he sees the Jets win and he's like, we could win the Super Bowl. I'm just like, whoa, that's a complete 180 from what I heard today. So it was like all that together just made it like a memorable moment.
Yeah, that was an amazing run. Rex Ryan again, just making the most out of those guys that he had. Of course, going through Peyton Manning and Tom Brady. I can't think of another team that did that. Back-to-back playoff. I mean, Tom Brady, of course, he was been in the Super Bowl every other year for the last 20 years, which is crazy. So just to get over that hump, I bet, and then being one game away from Super Bowl status is that had to be exciting. Unfortunately, you guys lost to Pittsburgh the next week, 19-24. But one thing you did bring up was I didn't realize that New England did actually, I thought you were exaggerating, did beat you guys week 13, 3-45.
That's imprinted in my brain for a very long time just because I was like, because we came back, I think it was a week or two later, and then we beat the Steelers in the snow. And I was like, I thought we were going to lose this one. And then we started pulling up another couple string of wins. I'm just like, all right, we went 11-5 after going 9-7 the year before. I was like, oh, this is new.
That's why football's the greatest sport. It's literally any given Sunday.
It really is any given Sunday. And that's what I love about it.
Yep. G, anything else for favorite memory?
No, I mean, that was probably like, because I think it was like the 10th year anniversary this year now for that little post game rant by Bart Scott. I mean, him and I think it's Sal P. I can't pronounce his last name. I don't want to fuck it up. But yeah, man.
Antonio, something like that.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Man, it's like can't stop a nosebleed. You know what I mean? I think they held them too because I think that rushing attack for New England was actually pretty solid, and they actually held them to minimal rushing yards.
Yep.
Well, yeah, when Sal used to cover the team, it wasn't Rich Cimini. That was a time.
Yeah.
Well, we know we don't get to this to the playoffs every year, and we don't get to beat Peyton Manning and Tom Brady every year. Do you have a worst Jets memory?
Worst? I mean,
it could be those games right after that. That Pittsburgh game. I mean, the following year, you guys also went to the playoffs again, beat the Chargers. And then, of course, it was the back-to-back AFC championship losses.
Was it the butt fumble?
That was definitely the butt fumble.
Butt fumble was up there. Yeah, we went 8. That was Thanksgiving Day.
I think that was a big reason why it became such a thing too. I mean, everyone saw it. A Thanksgiving Day game, Sanchez turns the wrong way, and it's on every newspaper and every person's television that day.
It was on ESPN, not top 10 for like over, I think, a year straight. And I was like, okay, this is. And the thing was like we were the last game of the day, and it's like, all right, divisional rival matchup. Let's see what happens. You see the first score, and like I was like, okay, let's come back, let's get it. I was like, nope, over this thing. And the worst part is too. So it wasn't my fiance at the time, but I was dating somebody else, and so they were over for Thanksgiving dinner, and so were their roommate, and like we were just sitting down watching the game, and it's like, all right, the Jets have like gone on and off. It's like, how bad can it be? And then right there. And she's just like crapping on my team. I'm just like, wait a minute, whoa. You're a Detroit Lions fan. Let's calm down over here, all right? So it was just an embarrassment all around. That was like probably, it's one of the very few games where I was like, I was embarrassed as a fan to say this is my team.
Yeah.
And two, it's just like And I told you, like, my dad goes off like when the team is like bad. So like it was just like the rest of the night, like you just could not hear for like an hour straight of just like, this team sucks. What the hell? Where is this all going? Fire everybody. It's like, and he's a Yankees fan too. So like under Steinbrenner during like the 80s and 90s, if something wasn't going right, you just fired somebody, bring somebody new in. And so like that New York mentality too of like during that era, if like you're a Yankees fan, it's like, oh, easy fix, fire them, hire somebody else because you got the money to do it. And it's like, it doesn't really work in the NFL like that. There's a cap. Like, yeah, you could pay coaches. They're not part of the cap, but you can't just hire someone mid-season like that.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a tough one. You mentioned a Lions fan. We had Nick Faber on here doing a Lions episode. I feel really bad for Lions fans. They have had no success anytime recently. So, yeah, she definitely – you guys at least have the Super Bowl from 68 to brag about.
Plus, you guys had Tebow for a year too, so you guys could brag about that.
Oh, my God, Jesus. So, like, that was just a whole experiment. That was a whole experiment in itself. I
remember you guys brought him in. It was like Wildcat, and then everyone was calling to – you guys need to bench Sanchez and start Tebow. I was like, oh, okay. And you guys gave up like a 4th round pick for him too. And I was like, ooh. Yeah. If they were going to cut him, they weren't going to keep him with Peyton Manning.
So the worst part about that, and especially because that same season, we actually played the 49ers, and you guys had Alex Smith and Colin Kaepernick.
Yeah.
Okay. And so, and who was the head, what's his name? The head coach is
Harbaugh.
Harbaugh. Yeah, Harbaugh. You guys did exactly what the Jets wanted to do. I was watching that team. I was watching the 49ers the entire season. I'm just like, what the fuck? I was like, this is like the whole model of what we wanted to do. It was like Rex Ryan. We had Tony Sparano from Miami as our offensive coordinator. And the entire season was like, we're going to keep it vanilla. We're going to do this. We're going to use Tebow this way. We're going to do this with Sanchez. I'm just like, all right, Sanchez doesn't have the arm, but it's like he could do some short passes, get to the tight end and like wide receivers. And I'm like, that was that whole like Plaxico, Derek Mason season. I'm just like, okay. And then you guys come to MetLife and you're doing exactly every single play. Every single play. It was like everything out. Like me and my buddy Steve were watching. I was like, they're doing exactly what we want to do. What the hell is it? How come we cannot just do this? And like, you guys wanted a magnificent run. I was like, this is bullshit.
Yep. Yeah. Those two teams are pretty similar like that. They were. Niners, of course, a little bit better. That was a great team. Right? They went on to the Super Bowl that year, right? Or is it the next year?
No, we went on this. It was next year because we lost in the NFC Championship against the Giants.
Yeah.
Fucking Kyle Williams.
You got it. 2 things just under not too good of memories for you guys. Guys in your secondary that eventually left, and one, Darrelle Revis, we did mention, but the other guy, Jamal Adams, who I absolutely love. He signed the big contract with you guys. Then it was the drama, especially in the, everywhere he went, he was saying that he wanted to leave, eventually gets traded. How'd you feel about that?
Well, we never gave him the big. We extended. We gave him the
extended him. Yeah.
He wanted the big contract. I was very pissed. What we got in return was just shocking. I can tell you that day, I remember this day down to the T. I was actually driving my fiance to one of her friends' homes, and to do a social distance because one of her good friends from school just had a baby, and so they're all like having a party to see the baby. And like the news broke as I was driving, and I was underneath the tunnel here in Boston, like from the Big Dig, and like so my phone's just trying to get signal back, just trying to reconfigure like as I'm driving, and I see the tag, and I was like, it drops down for ESPN, like Jamal Adams traded to Seattle Seahawks. I was like, what? I was like, did I just read that right?
Yeah.
I was like, babe, take the phone, pull down, like, read what that says. And she's like, Jamal Adams traded to the Seattle Seahawks. I was like, I was so infuriated, just like pissed off. Like, I tweeted out like that day, like, fuck the Jets. Like, I cannot do this. Like, what the hell? Because, like, they drafted him. Like he's like, I know we can joke about him being like a box safety that can't develop, like can't cover whatnot. Fine. You could talk about like how it was just like fluke because of like how Greg Williams schemed it, that he got so many like sacks, and how he's able to blitz and tackles and so forth. He was 2-time Pro Bowler with us. Like that doesn't happen. Like you drafted this kid, you said you wanted to keep him long term and like bring him on, and now you're just like, you're not being honest with him in negotiations. You're not like telling him like, you know, one thing you hear from like Joe, because I did the whole cover. It was Joe Douglas at the combine, and he was like, we want to keep Jamal Adams. We contacted his agent, so forth. Then you hear like, no contract's been offered to him when JD said that he's going to do all these things. Now you're just like, why is there double talks? What's going on here? COVID happened. Understand the league is like being a little financially strapped because of the situation. But it's just like there was no communication whatsoever. And then knowing that Adam Gase probably didn't have anything good to do with it, because Adam Gase just has this like vendetta against good players like he did to Jay Ajayi. We saw Kenyon Drake just have like, even though it's not like a great career he's had so far, but like he had that one success, like a decent success in Arizona. You see Tannehill go to Tennessee and play well. You start seeing all these guys who've been under Gase just leave him and play well, and then either win or just have a better career.
Yeah.
And it's just like, okay, so this guy is clearly ruining everything for us. We just lost a top safety. In return, you get back, well, we got a good pick. We got great compensation, 2 first rounders and so forth. So it's not that bad. And looking at it, like Seattle didn't win. They're probably not going to pay him. You being a Cowboys fan, and he may go home, so you may be excited about that because he's a Texas boy, you know what I mean? And he's a good safety, so just get to add to your squad. But it's at this point, like, I'm not as upset now that I see the compensation. Like, we've drafted well.
Yeah.
But in the moment, it was very stressful, very stressful.
You guys also got back a safety too. That's a very serviceable safety too, in Bradley McDoug.
Yeah, McDougal was fine. He was fine this year. Marcus Money May is where it's all at, though. He was probably next to him, and Q Will are definitely our. I'll also throw in, Hugh Will's a future, but we also had Julio, Poole, May, and Q Will were our best defensive players by far. So we're not going to keep Poole. Hopefully, we extend May because we can't lose 2 safeties. You know, you need a safety, even though they're not. Tier 1 is what they consider as like the most valuable, but we'll see what happens.
Well, let's get into this draft capital that you guys got for Jamal Adams and stuff like that. So going into this year's draft, this is a pretty damn big draft for the Jets. I mean, you guys can improve a lot if you hit on some of these picks. 2 first rounders, 2 third rounders, thanks to the Seahawks, and 6 picks in the top 100. So is there a direction where you want to go with these draft picks? I mean, you could do so many things, address the quarterback need, maybe edge rusher, cornerback.
O-line is where I'd like them to go. Not with the 2. That's where I'm like fine with the Jets trading back or trying to do something and get more capital because we need a lot. I'm not I haven't done enough draft research. I know there's a lot of talk within the fan base of talking about Zach Wilson, Justin Fields. Obviously, Trevor Lawrence was like the big prize when we had no wins. So I'm not sold. I'd have to do more research on those guys. But as of right now, I'm pretty firm with like moving back and getting like an O-lineman, maybe packaging the 2 and try like I hope like the Deshaun Watson rumors are true. Do that like if you can do that with a pick. There's a lot of avenues right now, like go back and forth, but I have a lot of faith in Joe Douglas, just seeing like how he's drafted this season. Like we got Mekhi Becton, we got Denzel Mims, who's shown well. Ashton Davis showed some promise this season on the defensive end as well as the safety. Michael Pirine as a running back showed a little flashes here and there. So our players aren't like Becton and Mims are definitely like the two best that we got from this draft, and just seeing that, like, that there's no, you look at these picks and you're just like, no one's just a complete bust, right? That's the worst. So, is it? Did I say Ghost?
Becton
No.
and Mims.
I'm thinking about earlier who I said. Is it Golston? Because I think Golston's like the guy who was like the worst. I think is who's the, God damn. There's too many Vernons in my head right now that the Jets had. So yeah, like it because I was just trying to go to an example. Like, we've just drafted so many bad players in the past where it's like second rounder, like I said, Jason Ameko, like, didn't turn into nothing.
Yeah.
So that's why.
Yeah. That's disappointing. I think I know your answer to this next question, but just guys whose contracts are coming up. You got Perriman, Pat Elflein, who I think got injured this year. He only played 6 games. Marcus May, Poole, Bradley McDougall, Jordan Jenkins. Is there one guy out of that group you'd like to bring back?
Is it Flacco?
I unfortunately left Flacco off the list.
Okay. I'm sorry. Repeat the name. So you said Perriman. Perriman is like off the list. There's not a lot of guys I want to bring back. So Perriman's off. Who were the other?
Pat Elflein.
Nah.
No. Marcus May.
Yes.
You want to bring him back?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
So
Loved him at NC State.
Yeah. I mean, you guys did the double dip on safeties that draft.
I like that draft a lot.
And yeah, I mean, might have even had the best duo in the league for a little bit there. But yeah, Marcus May, I agree on that one. He should be the one to bring back out of those guys just coming up. But hit on the draft, maybe trade back. I'm a huge fan of the trade back, especially this year, because I feel like there's just not that one guy that you're probably going to want to, there's not that edge rusher. There's not that Bosa. There's not that Quinnen Williams type dude to kind of set apart, unless you're going for a quarterback or something like that. So I think you guys will be in good hands with all that capital. Anything else?
Yeah, I mean, as far as, free agents in the draft and whatnot, Pat Elflein, he was a good run blocker, but when it comes to pass, being a pass blocker, he was kind of shitty. I think that's why the Vikings did let him go. But yeah, I agree with you, Alex, saying that if you guys trade back and were to get an offensive lineman, there's some good offensive linemen in this draft, whether it's Penei Sewell, Rashawn Slater, Dirk Shaw from Va Tech. There's tons of guys in here, and I know you guys. You said you wanted to upgrade that center. You said center's hard to find. I know Ohio State, they got a couple guys out there. That I think that'd be awesome to see for sure. But one thing I was curious about is I don't think you guys are going to hang on to Darnold, because you guys would have to pick up his option if that's the case. I mean, maybe you guys would if you guys surround him with a better offensive line, but you guys would have to pay him close to 19 mil. And I don't think you guys are.
So that's the thing, right? So we have him for one more season, and then we could potentially tag him, right? Mm-hmm. So you can use that non-exclusive tag and see, what you got for one more season with him. And I'm fine with that. And, like I said, I need to do more research on the quarterbacks. I know there's a lot of hype. I think we do this every season with quarterbacks, where even like we'll get Darnold's draft, where it's like, oh my God, this could be the next guy. Like, you watch him play so well in college, and you're like, this could be the kid. And it's like, outside of Trevor Lawrence, right, who has that high potential. Like, we we did this with Darnold. Like, we've done this with like so many we've done this with, you had who was it that season? Ooh. Darnold's draft was Darnold, Baker. You had Lamar Jackson. You also had Josh Rosen was another kid. It's like, maybe we take Josh Rosen. This kid looks legit out of UCLA. And you're just like, now where is he? Right? We did it with like Kyler Murray. Kyler Murray is not even far into his career, but has Kyler Murray really shown you anything? You're just like, this kid's great. Or, we can look at like Carson Wentz, who just got traded, and another kid who was just like touted coming out. And same year with Jared Goff. That same year with Goff. And like, everyone hypes up quarterbacks so much. I'm just like, we do this all the time, guys. Yeah. We just like hype up a quarterback. we try to like sell ourselves like this is it because it's the new flashy toy, and it's like, is it going to turn what does it turn into? And so, like, I trust Douglas to make the right choice, but like I don't want to like I can't go based on what the fan base is saying just because like the college and like NFL are like totally different. Like kid could throw so well like college because let's look at the defense. Like the defense is moving like so slow. Like how many times do we see like a kid throwing like 80-yard dimes and it's just like no one's around the wide receiver. You're like, oh wow, look at this. Kid looks amazing. And it's like, all right, but is he going against like a NFL corner who's giving you like a window of like 2-3 seconds to make a pass? Like let's see that. If you show me that he's doing that, which Trevor Lawrence looks like he has the arm to do, which is why I get it. I don't want to hear that this kid could be the next thing. Like I think Darnold, he has experience under him. The worst, like I went back and compared it to like Ben Roethlisberger, right? Where like you see Ben had a dip before he won his Super Bowl, and it's like, sure, different situation, different organization, one that you can actually trust. Ben's won. He's won 2 Super Bowls. And so it's like, could you compare him, say that just because you go on this trajectory that he's going to turn out the same way? No, I'm not saying that at all. I'm just trying to say that we've seen guys come in early and like have had no success and then transfer heavy success. Alex Smith is like number one like example. It's like dude was just like bad. You get him with like Harbaugh and next thing you're like, oh my God, Alex Smith can take you to the playoffs. And he did that in San Fran and in Kansas City. So get the kid a line. We saw what happens when you don't have a line. Look at Pat Mahomes throwing frozen ropes, like diving just like sideways. It's like,
it's awesome that you said that you kind of did that little comparison with Darnold and Big Ben, because I remember the rumors were saying like Pittsburgh should trade for Darnold because they're similar in that aspect. So I like that comparison that you did right there. That I think that was actually a pretty good one. But one quick thing as far as free agents, there is some free agents not on your team. Is there a certain free agent out there that you like want? You're like, dude, just give me him. I want him. That's like reasonable.
Kenny Galladay.
Kenny Galladay. Oh, I like that. I like that for sure. I was gonna say Allen Robinson.
I love Allen Robinson too, and there's like, I don't know how much you guys know about Jets Twitter and like the flare, like the fire of just like behind Allen Robinson. I think is represented by Gary V, or I forget who's represented by who.
He's a Jet guy. Allen Robinson,
he is a big Jet guy. But like Deshaun Watson, I think his agent, shout out to Gary V, because like that's the guy I want to own the Jets.
Gary V, if you're listening, come on the show.
Get on the show here.
Gary V, please just just tell Woody to sell you the team. I know that I know we'll have like Super Bowls then. Yeah. Like he has so much passion. I'm just like, you look like Steve Ballmer, like the NBA, right, with the Clippers, and you're like, wow, the Clippers are actually good right now because they actually have an owner who's like totally invested. Shocker how that works. So like, I look at like, what was it? There was like
Jets Twitter.
Jets Twitter. So I think Allen Robinson liked a tweet about Deshaun Watson going to the Jets and like Robert Salah, and so like now there's like, oh my God, it could be Deshaun Watson and Allen Robinson. They just want to play together. I'm just like, I would love it.
Hell yeah.
If you tell me that's what we're getting, absolutely do it.
That's franchise changing in a year.
Absolutely.
Added Watson and then having, even if it wasn't Robinson, if it was Galladay, you'd have Galladay, Crowder. You got the little dude from the U, Barrios, his name,
Braxton
right?
Berrios,
Barrios, he's dope. I like him for sure. And then you guys have Denzel Min, who's like, everyone's like, oh man, he's just a highlight reel. I mean, he faced some injuries in the beginning of the year. It was weird, different offseason, but I think that, he's working hard on it now. We saw flashes, and get this guy a line if you get. That'd be a nasty team right there.
Yeah. Oh my God, I would love it, but I go Kenny Galladay just because I think it's more reasonable. I think that is more reasonable and realistic, just because.
You guys need that big body, yeah, definitely.
Big body. I think Allen Robinson, like he wants to go to somewhere where it's going to be a stable QB.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So I can't see you selling like, hey Robinson, I know you play with Blake Bortles and now Mitch Trubisky. We don't know who our quarterback's going to be, but come over here. Like that's not a sell. With Kenny Galladay, it's like for Kenny Galladay, it's like, all right, man, like we got Salah. You know, you played for the Lions. Like we already know the situation over there. It was like it wasn't great. You played with Gimli, who was like pretty. Like I know I'm just messing around with like. Being a Lord of the Rings fan, Matt Patricia, I just call him Gimli because of the freaking like the freaking beard. Yeah. So, like, you could be like, "Hey, man, we're trying to build something over here. You're young. Why not come to us?" I think that's more of like a better sell, and he could be the number one wide receiver with whatever quarterback you have. I know for him, he's going to demand a lot of the market too, just for like he wants to play with a legit quarterback coming from Stafford, but. I think that's an easier sell. Like there's other guys like Will Fuller's like a name that was thrown around. I'm not particular to a guy who's getting injured every single year. And the max that he's played, I think, is like 11 or 13 games. So it's hard to sell me on that. I get that you can get him for a 1 year, like prove it deal, but then you got to pay the guy. So I don't. He's unless Mims becomes that true number one. Like Will Fuller's not a true number one.
Mm-hmm. I agree. Well, gee, I think that's it for me. You got anything else to wrap it up?
One thing, is it just me? Does Darnold kind of look like Steven Ranzini's?
Ranzizi?
Yeah. Kevin
from the league,
right?
Yeah. He does. He does.
That's funny.
But no, that's it for me. Alex, tell everybody again what you're working on. Any projects coming up that you have, you want everybody to let you know?
Well, Gennaro, Duran, thank you guys for having me on. This is a lot of fun. I love talking football. Love talking about my team. By the way, Vernon Golston is not the guy who I was thinking of. That was a bust as a linebacker. I know I mentioned his name earlier. I don't need Jets fans to come out here and just like try to prove me wrong, because I know you guys are going to do that. You guys love to do this to me. I make one mistake like on a pod of like naming like our center just because it's been like got a lot going on. It's like, I'm sorry that I made a mistake, but sure, just rip me in my DMs. Why not? But for everyone listening, once again, thank you guys. But you guys can find me at Hoops Habit. I cover the Knicks and some Nuggets there. You guys can find me at KnicksFanTV.com. You can also find the podcast, Knicks, Jets, etc. on all audio platforms. We're on Apple, Spotify, Stitcher, Overcast, you name it, we're there. And if you're into sports betting, NBA, come find me on Tallyside.
Good one. And I'll put all the links below. So go ahead and look below and follow along. Go check out Alex.
Yeah, smash that share and subscribe. Look at Durant's background. For those of you on YouTube, follow us on YouTube, follow us on Twitter. Alex said, we're also on all the platforms as well. See here. Alex, if you want to stick around just for a little bit after we get off air, and that'd be awesome. Durant, anything else to say before we sign out?
That's it, man. Great episode.
All right, man. Thanks a lot, Alex. Thanks everybody for joining. Later.
Have a good one.